The day the bandages were removed from my eyes, I jokingly pretended I was blind. My husband and best friend were standing by my bedside, pouring out their hearts. "It's okay if you can't see anymore. We'll take care of you for the rest of your life." But that same night, all three of us ended up in the same bed. They were lying with their backs to me. My best friend was on top of my husband, panting heavily. Realizing that I couldn't see, their faces were full of satisfaction and pleasure. Worried that I might hear something suspicious, my best friend whispered, "Jasmine, I'm just giving your husband a massage." The disgust inside me nearly made me vomit, but I held it back. When they were finally done, I tried to find an excuse to leave the room, but my 5-year-old son suddenly ran in. "Mom, I missed you so much." My heart softened. I was about to open my arms to embrace him, but he ran straight past me and snuggled up beside my best friend. The three of them looked like a perfect family, all smiles, but when they looked at me, their faces twisted with disdain. I couldn't take it anymore. I stepped out of the room and dialed my lawyer's number, telling him to bring the divorce papers. If they were so happy as a family of 3, I would give them what they wanted. I just wondered if my best friend could afford to support this pair of freeloaders. Jasmine, don't mind the sounds. A massage needs to be firm, so it's bound to make some noise." When I heard Clara Merling's voice, I bit my lips so hard that I almost drew blood, but I stayed silent. I let out a faint and pretended to be asleep. The bed was shaking. The three of us were lying there, me, my husband Tim Grant, and my best friend Clara. It was the 3rd day since I was discharged from the hospital. Ever since I'd told them I was blind, Clara had moved into my house to take care of me, which also included giving my husband his massage at night. Their clothes were all tangled together on the floor. They were curled up in the bed, trembling under the covers, the atmosphere charged with lust. One was my husband, and the other was my best friend. Weren't they afraid of being seen? Of course, they weren't afraid, because they thought I was blind. Opening my eyes in the dark, a wave of nausea surged in my stomach. I had to bite my lip to hold it down. They didn't know I was pretending. They thought I couldn't see, and they did whatever they pleased. For the thrill of it, the three of us ended up in the same bed. Clara wore my $1 million jewelry, ate luxury meals in my mansion, dressed in my designer clothes, and carried my bags. Even my son, who'd always been so stubborn with me, changed his tune. He happily jumped into her arms. In a daze, I heard my son, Gordon, call out for Mom, but it wasn't me he was calling. It was Clara. Ah. As I recalled all of this, a gasp suddenly came from the bed. The two of them had finished. No more. "I'm exhausted." Clara shuddered, immediately crawling out from under the covers. She sweetly said, "The massage is done." With my back to them, I kept my eyes closed under the soft night light, silently watching their figures as they dressed. "I'll go back to bed." "See you tomorrow, Jasmine," Clara said. She wore a seductive nightgown, blushing as she waved at Tim. I pretended to be asleep, waiting an hour before Tim quietly got out of bed. Once he'd left the room, I grabbed my phone and saw the message my lawyer had sent. "The divorce papers are ready." As I thought about the scenes that had unfolded these past few days while I was blind, my eyes turned cold. I scanned the room and sent another message. "By the way, don't forget the prenuptial agreement. I want Tim to leave with nothing. And that son of mine, who wanted Clara to be his new mom, well, I would let him have his wish." I couldn't wait to see Clara's hopes all shatter into nothing. The first day I got home, Clara and Tim decided to give me a little surprise. They said they were going to take good care of me. But now, one of them was wearing my dress with the other's hand under it. And that was just on the first day. When I found out Tim and Clara were cheating right in front of me, I didn't make a scene. Instead, I quietly turned on the villa's security cameras and acted like everything was fine, letting them care for me however they liked. But what really broke my heart was my son, Gordon. He was exactly like Tim. They shared the same cold, calculating look. Not only did Gordon cover for his dad, but he even slipped sleeping pills into my milk and brought it to me. "If Mom drinks this milk every day, can Clara be my mom forever?" Hearing those words as I hid behind the door sent a chill down my spine. I'd been there for him from the moment he was born, taking care of him nonstop. I even sacrificed most of my work to focus on him. And our family. He had everything, expensive toys, trips to the amusement park every chance I got, the best clothes and food. Even when he threw tantrums, I handled it with patience. I never once thought about hurting him, even when he bit me hard enough to draw blood. But now, Mom, have some milk. He stood there with that cup of drugged milk, looking so excited, urging me to drink it. I felt disgusted but tried to hide it. I pretended I didn't know, took a sip, and played along. Afterward, Gordon ran off, happy and skipping as he left. He didn't forget to call back to me. Faster, Mom. At that moment, everything shifted. This kid, my own son, had always been cold toward me. Even after I lost my sight, he was poisoning me and even hid blades in my towels. Whenever I lectured him, Tim always said, "He's just a kid. He doesn't know any better." But is that really true? Gordon's gaze was filled with disgust. It was clear that wasn't just childish ignorance. Some kids were just bad, no matter what. I didn't want him anymore. I spit out the milk and watched him leap into Tim and Clara's arms on the security footage. The three of them being so happy made my blood run cold. Their smiles were a knife to my heart. But what cut even deeper was the stuff they said. She's just a blind woman. Who cares when she dies? If it weren't for her money, I wouldn't have married her. From now on, we're a family. This is our home now. Even Gordon calls you Mom. The smug look on their faces stung more than I could even explain. I sent the video to my lawyer. When Clara mentioned she wanted the house, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly. She was so caught up in Tim's promises, imagining a life of luxury, completely unaware that Tim was just a house husband. This house belonged to my family. I almost wanted to see her face when she found out the truth.